her at parties, take her out to dinner. No matter how much he loved her, he couldn't be a husband to her anymore. He glanced back over his shoulder, and his spiritual stomach seized as he realized how far behind him she was. Sarah was young and fit, but the monsters pursuing them were immortal, needing neither rest nor food. She stumbled, wheezed. Schweitzer forced himself to slow, to wait for her. The need to run was almost overwhelming. The dead muscles in his legs twitched with the desire to move on. For the 100th time since they'd fled together, he considered telling her to leave him, to take Patrick and find some place to lie low, to start over. He dismissed the idea as soon as it arose. He was the Gemini cell's primary target, but they would never suffer someone knowing as much as Sarah did. As for Patrick, they'd either kill him or take him as their own, and Schweitzer wasn't going to let either of those things happen. The Gemini cell had all the resources of a special operations regiment and intelligence service combined, but that paled in comparison to their gold operators, feral monsters, all as immortal and superpowered as Schweitzer himself. No, Sarah and Patrick were safest with him. Only Schweitzer was strong enough to protect them. Grief for all he had lost ripped through him yet again, and yet again he quashed it. Grief was an emotion for the living, as was anger, or regret, or joy. He couldn't afford those luxuries now. He could take one thing from his former life, his oath as a Navy SEAL, so others might live. He died trying to protect Sarah and Patrick. He'd been fortunate enough to get a second crack at it, and by God, he'd take it. So others might live. He turned his focus to the woods around him, leaping over a fallen log, landing on a stone barely larger than his foot, and balancing there. The magic that animated his corpse gave him heightened senses. He could see for miles in different spectrums. He could sniff out a rose petal buried in a garbage heap. Now he dialed his hearing out, straining to catch the sounds of dirt bike engines or helicopter rotors, anything that might indicate that the cell's agents were closing in. Nothing. His boosted senses brought him only the sounds of beetles foraging in the dead leaves beneath them, the wind rushing in the canopy over their heads. The only smells were leaf mold and wildflowers and fresh water a long way off. No trace of humanity. They were deep in nearly 2 million acres of forest spanning 3 states. Years of running counterinsurgency ops in the rugged mountains of Afghanistan had taught Schweitzer firsthand how hard it was to locate a single man on the run, even one with a family. All the drone cameras and ground teams backed by the largest defense budget in the world couldn't make the haystack any smaller, the needles any bigger. He nodded and pressed on. "Jim," Sarah sounded winded and a lot farther behind him than he'd realized. He stopped, whirled. She was bent at the waist, hands on her hips, breathing in labored gasps. Her pink hair was clotted with leaves and mud, her t-shirt ripped and filthy. Patrick flailed in his makeshift sling, all cried out but still struggling. "Wait," she panted. "Jesus fucking Christ, just wait! 1 minute!" He had pushed her too hard, too fast. He had forgotten mortal limitations. It was a reminder of the chasm that separated them, and it tore his heart anew. "Sorry. Patrick and I aren't like you." She straightened, spat a long streamer of mucus-flecked saliva, and suppressed a coughing fit. "We can't keep going like this." Her skin was pale and waxy, her eyes fever-bright. He was hurting her, as his frequent absences had in life, all the missed art shows, her long nights at home alone, caring for Patrick while he was away on ops. And now she was condemned to run like an animal, hounded by the undead, all because of him. "I'm sorry," he said again, hoping that his tone conveyed just how much. "I'll slow down." But he didn't want to slow down. The Gemini cell wouldn't rest until it had them. He turned to go. Sarah didn't move. "Where are we going?" Schweitzer realized that he didn't know. Since they'd won the battle at